Hey, it's Darren Lee, Leonard Williams,
Justin Burris,
Jason McDougal here, Doug Middleton, Darryl Roberts.
So you're watching NYJFTV.
You're watching NYJFTV. So you're watching NYJFTV. You're watching NYJFTV.
Go Jets.
Go Jets.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of NYJFTV. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Sirkin, here with Fireman Ed and Rob Carpenter after a brutal 15-10 loss at Tampa Bay. Guys, we talked about it on Thursday's show, whether or not this team might be due for a performance like this. I tried putting it in perspective after the game, telling myself they gave us a nice run this year. It's been more positive than expected, but I still couldn't be any more pissed off about that performance in a big game yesterday. I think it's safe to say that a better team with a better quarterback would have absolutely blown the Jets out. The penalties are out of control now. The offense and the offensive line embarrassed themselves. And it's hard to even be positive about the defense because 3rd and 15, we can't even get a stop when we need it. Meanwhile, on offense, 3rd and 1, we still haven't figured it out. So, Rob, I'll start it off with you. You mentioned last week how sometimes this just happens with the West Coast offense where things don't work. Clearly nothing was working yesterday. So what the hell went wrong on offense?
I can't call it on that one, man. It's just, if you played in this offense long enough, you know that there's going to be games where you just, it's just a dud. And if you don't have that QB who can actually manufacture a lot of things when things are going wrong, it's just going to be that way basically for the entire game unless they just, scrap the whole game plan and decide to just run the base offense and see what happens. It just looked like they decided to do that late in the fourth quarter and got some things moving. But, by the time it was a little too late. I think they gassed out the defense for having the defense on the field so long. But, it was one of those things with the defense as well. A few times on the field, they just couldn't get stops. They did hold the Bucs to field goals, but, they just couldn't get stops when they actually needed them. And it just contributed to longer drives than they should have had and defense being on the field longer than they should have been. But, I'm agreeing with you, Kevin. This is just one of those games, man, where you just gotta chalk it up as they just got beat. Nothing worked. Watch the film, learn from it, and come back and hope it never happens again.
Burn the film. Ed, what did you see?
They read their clippings. They were dancing to the music. They were enjoying themselves. I'll tell you one thing. They had me drinking the Kool-Aid. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. They had me drinking the Kool-Aid. And they just hit me with a goddamn sledgehammer. Boom! Not right now. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to be ready for prime time just yet. This is when you lose it. As a Jet fan, they go to a point where they just make you, you love them and then listen, how many people picked the Jets? Everybody picked the Jets. On Sunday morning, when I seen the amount of people that picked the Jets, I said, here we go. Here we go. The offensive line, first off, they needed to, after the game, they needed to take a separate bus. They needed to be alone. They need to sit down and get a big mirror, all of them, and just go, what? Did we come to play today? I don't think we came to, maybe they didn't feed them. I don't know. Something happened. They didn't show up. They didn't show up. They even played better in Oakland. How about that? Than they did this game. I mean, what a joke. Oh, man. The defense, I thought overall played a good game. They made, they gave up some plays, but they held tight when it counted. Gave up 15 points. I mean, they were playing Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know, but I liked Ryan Fitzpatrick, by the way. But, hey, I don't know what to tell you. They hit you over with a sledgehammer. All the people that love them, they hit you with, they pulled out the bullpen hammer and hit you over the head yesterday. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, Ed, I mean, defensively, it's definitely hard to blame the defense when it feels like they did enough to win the game if the offense would have showed up. But the things that bother me, the 17-play drive to start the game, then the 15-play drive in the fourth quarter. I know there were a couple tough penalties in there, but they had plenty of opportunities to get off the field, still within one score, and they couldn't come through. And that's what we always seem to be talking about with this defense. Can they get a stop when it matters the most? And yesterday they had a shot in the fourth. They didn't do it. Considering the quarterback, considering no Mike Evans, I expected more impact plays from this defense yesterday.
That could have been what it was. They just had that letdown where, Mike Evans wasn't on the field, so they didn't have that deep threat out there. Well, that threat of, Fitz throwing the ball to him on basically every play, because that's probably what would have happened. And he had to spread the ball around. He went to Jackson. He went to Braid. He dumped the ball down to the backs. He was just throwing the ball all over the place. I think those guys actually took a little bit of the fact that Evans wasn't there, took it a little bit for granted. And you can tell in the way they were playing coverages every now and then. But as I stated last week, Fitz was going to throw a few balls up there that they could actually take advantage of and took out of the air for themselves. They had a few shots. They got one. But they had a few shots. And you never know if they actually were actually paying attention and could have made a few more turnovers here and then. You never know what was going to happen. Give the offense a short field to work with or a better field position, because that's basically what was happening. Tampa Bay was keeping the ball and was actually flipping the field position when it counted, when they actually had to give the ball to the Jets. So the Jets are always on the long haul. And, when you're not actually taking shots down the field as much as the Jets were doing, that's it's going to be a bogged down offense, and that's basically what happened. And one thing that surprised me was they didn't go to Austin Seferian-Jenkins until late. So I was pretty shocked at that McCown didn't take advantage of that, because there were a few times in the game where I was reading routes early in the game and he was open and he was throwing the ball out of places. So, I think they'll look at the film with that as well, and just McCown will go back and take the shots that are given to him instead of trying to force the ball somewhere else.
They played a vanilla game. Their offensive play calling, John Morton's done a great job this year. Let's not, one game, but I don't know what he was doing yesterday. I mean, we were basically running the ball. They didn't take shots down the field. There was no screen passes, no wide receiver screen passes, no middle screen passes, no screen passes, period. I mean, very disappointing. They really looked like they were out of it. I mean, they looked like Thursday night was their Super Bowl. Like it didn't look like they came. That was not the same hungry team that I seen. And listen, the defense played, like I said, overall pretty good, but they were playing a second string quarterback, so we can't put too much faith. I didn't think they came to play like they should have. I mean, they weren't hungry. They were not hungry.
Flat.
You looked at
they were flat.
They were flat. They were flat. There's no doubt about it. And that's worst time of the year. Now, you got 6 games left. You look at this schedule. You're gonna find you're gonna have a hard time winning 2 of the next 6. You're gonna have a hard time. You may get 2. You might get 2. I would think that they're going to be hard pressed to get 6 wins, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they're going to be hard pressed to get 6 wins. They're going to come away with 5. It'll be 5-11 or 6-10. It's not the worst thing in the world. As you get closer and you start to see, we all talked about, we want them to win. Okay, you're not the tanking, but as you get into the season, you start going, oh, hold up, wait a minute. We do want to be where we can be. We're not giving the whole ranch away. If McCagnon likes one of these young guys, if he likes one of these guys, he's going to go get him. I'm going to tell you right now. You can see that they're not into Petty and the other guy. Enough with the Petty and Hackenberg. Oh, he picked him second. Okay, well, a lot of GMs pick guys in a bad spot. He's just one of many. Go down a list. The greatest GMs do it. Okay, you got him. If they wanted to play these guys, he wouldn't have said, I seen what I wanted to see in the summertime. So obviously, you don't have to read between the tea leaves here. I mean, come on, take a look. They're going to have bigger plans in the offseason.
Guys, we're going to get back to the quarterbacks in just a second. There's something I want to add on that. But right now we have Louie, who would like to join us, who's actually in Tampa Bay for the game. So let's go ahead and bring him on. Louie, this is Kevin, Rob, and Ed. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Louie?
Good, good. How you guys doing?
What's up, Lou?
What's on your mind?
How you doing, man? Hey, first of all, you guys seen the fans out there rocking it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to get into it. The play calling. All right, first of all, they were forcing it to Jenkins way too early. And I seen Robbie open maybe twice during that. And Tampa knew it. So they basically had two guys on Carpenter and Jenkins. And the play calling was just horrendous besides the offensive line. And then you had like a 2nd and 16, and you're going to do a little running play when they were stopping the run all day long, and now you have a 3rd and 17. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Well, one of the things that what I was going to say before was I think Morton actually was reading, game plans from past teams playing against Tampa, and they saw that they could run the ball. Teams have run the ball on Tampa, and the Jets actually have a pretty good running game. So when you actually put in a game plan to actually run the ball, when it first isn't working, you're not going to stop it. You're not just going to quit that part of the game plan just to throw the ball 50 times. So they just kept trying to force the run, and just so happens that O-line was just getting beat, man. You can't fault anything else other than the O-line just got beat yesterday, and the Tampa front four whooped up on the Jets O-line. It was just one of those days, man. Hopefully we won't ever see that again, because the running game is going to be here, and Johnny Moore's not going to go away from that. McCown's just not going to just air it out 40, 50 times a game. You won't see that. They're going to try and get these young guys the ball in the running game.
The penalties, Louis, the penalties would destroy. If you look back on all those series yesterday, I'll guarantee you that if they had 10 series in the game, 8 or 9 of them, they were either 2nd and 20, 1st and 20, 3rd and 15. I mean, it was unbelievable, the amount of penalties. It's really, was bad. They got to stop. That's been going on all year. That's killing them. You can never get ahead if you're going to be constantly penalized. These NFL refs, number one, they're ridiculous, these guys. They don't stop with the penalty. They don't stop with them. It's every game.
What about that? There was like a one-handed catch that I forgot who had to try to make it. The other guy was holding. He had practically used one hand to try to catch the ball because the other hand was being held. Yeah, it was Curse
in the end zone.
That wasn't no penalty, right? It was like It was so bad. It was horrible. Even Bucs fans next to me, they were like, "Hey, I guess if we can't move the chains by ourselves, the referee's got to help us." It was ridiculous. And then of course our own penalties. But anyway, it was a great experience out there. If it wasn't, the outcome of the game wasn't, the best, but it was a heck of a time that we had. Like, it was just awesome. All the fans came together. We all went out there. We had a great time. The win would have made it perfect, because even though it was awesome, it was a great time. That stadium's nice. We were all fired up. We were ready for that W. We showed up.
We've been on the wrong end of a lot of those road trips, man. So don't worry about it.
I got you, man.
That's a great stadium. Great stadium. It really is. And the fans, I knew the fans were going to show up. I knew they were going to show up. I was there when Crabette caught that pass from Curtis Martin. That was the last time I was there. That was in 2000. That was in 2000 when we beat them. We were both undefeated. We were both 3-0, and we beat them. They hosted the Super Bowl.
Remember
yes.
Keyshawn? We were right in his face.
Yep.
All right, Louis, man, thanks a lot for taking the time to call in. We definitely appreciate it, dude.
No problem.
Good to see you, Lou.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, Louis.
All right, so getting right back to the quarterbacks really quick. We've given McCown a lot of credit for the run that he's had so far, but some things are very painfully clear. The Jets' 2-minute offense right now is non-existent. When the run game isn't there, you can't trust him. And when they're behind, you can't trust him. They were 2nd and 3rd and long all day, and he's not the kind of quarterback that you can win with like that. Of course, Bowles said today there's not going to be a change at quarterback. Ed, I know you just said that you agree with that. They don't have any faith in Petty or Hackenberg, which may be true. But if you drafted these guys as projects, as developmental players, Petty's played 4 games. Hack hasn't even gotten on the field yet. So how can we truly assess their development before they've had a chance to play?
You may see them with maybe 3 games left or something. I don't know. He's not going to play them now. He's not playing them for 6 games. It's not happening. But I knew that 3 or 4 weeks ago. We knew that. That wasn't happening. Let's see what happens when we get into the 13th, 14th week. Maybe he will play them in the 13th and 14th. He's just not playing them right now. They're 4-6. He can't tell a locker room and the defensive players and all these guys, all right, we're going with a different. He can't do it. First off, last week, see, this is what I mean by week to week. We're off the wall. Fans are off the wall. Last week, McCowan scored 34 points. We couldn't talk enough about him. Now, all of a sudden, he's no good. He's no good again. He's horrible. Relax. Slow down. They're 4-6. Let's see what happens. It's still early.
I don't even think it's as much to do with fans not thinking that McCown is any good as it is the fact that at 4-6 now, realistically, looking at the rest of the schedule, they're not in the playoffs anymore. They're not. So why not get a look at what your future might be, even if they're not?
But you don't know that, Ken. The one thing you don't know is what the other teams are going to do. So you're looking at the teams that are in front of them. They're 1 game out of the wild card right now. So you don't know what the other teams are going to be doing themselves. So if the other teams are losing and the Jets are right there with them, and 3 games from now and the Jets are still 1 game out of the playoffs, do you turn to Petty or do you turn to Hack? No, you don't. You stick with McCown. He's completing 70% of his passes. He's the guy that actually has I'm not going to say righted the ship, but has the ship going in the right direction for the guys who are actually on the team. He's the leader of the O right now. And if you put Petty in there or you put Hackenberg in there, we know Hack is going to be in there like a deer with caught in headlights. Petty might be firing the ball all over the field, but that could lead to a lot of turnovers. He's going to throw the ball deep to Robbie. We do know that because Petty that was Petty's favorite target ever since he's been on the field. That's how Robbie got his fame, and that's how Robbie got his start. It was because of Petty. But for them to make that change right now, that's signaling to the rest of the team that they're giving up. And for Bowles and McCagnon to say to the rest of the team right now, 1 game out of the wild card, that we're giving up and going in another direction, that will turn the whole team around turn the team on Bowles. And
what about it?
The whole team is looking up to him right now. They're playing for him. We haven't said that this team has played as hard as they have played in a couple of years. So for them to make a change right now and have the team flip the switch like on the other side of the stadium, like the Giants are doing, you see what's going on over there right now? They were 11-5 in a playoff team last year. What's happening right now? It's a new year. Last year, everybody was ready to fire Todd Bowles. This year, everybody's talking about he should be coach of the year. The team is playing hard for him. You keep that momentum going as long as you can. You're not going to turn that switch off until it's totally dead in the season. The playoff run is actually over. You're counted out. All right, make a switch and see what these other guys can do. That's how you play the season out.
Let me tell you something, Kev. What happens, Kev? What happens if they beat Carolina and Kansas City at home? Why, that can't happen? That can happen. That definitely can happen. They win those 2 games and they're 6-6. All of a sudden, we're changing our whole. Wait a minute. Hold up. We're 6-6. We're 6-6 with 4 games left. You don't know. It's too early to be talking about the other 2 kids. When they are systematically out of it, then maybe he will go to those young guys. But if this team, they're playing 2 home games in a row. They got a bye week. They're getting healthy, the guys that are getting nicked up. You don't know what's going to happen just tonight with Carolina. Cam Newton's running like crazy. He may not even be on the field. Who knows? He may not even make it. The way the offensive strategy for the Panthers, they got to have their head examined. They give that kid too much. They kill him. Anyway, we go 6-6. It's a whole nother ballgame. Let's see what happens.
Fair enough. But the one other thing that we have to talk about, obviously there's one coach in New York, scorching hot seat right now. Another coach that some want to put back on the hot seat with Todd Bowles. Personally, at this moment, I'd say he's done enough to earn that 4th year. I definitely acknowledge he's got some shortcomings with, adjustments, game management, time management, some questions with player usage. He's far from perfect, but I think overall, like we've been talking about, we see a young team that respects him. They respond to his coaching style. He's kept them competitive every week. But if we stop seeing that progress and the team does go in the tank for the next 6 games, does this become a legitimate conversation again?
I don't think so, because the expectations were that this team weren't going to do anything anyway. So he's exceeded expectations already. So if you look at it for the rest of the season, and the team doesn't play up to par for what they have played already, the bar was so low to start. He raised the bar as high as it is right now. And if he goes back down to where everybody's expectations were, what's that saying about everybody's thinking? That this is our roller coaster ride, and that fans are nuts. Media is nuts, because 1 minute you wanted this guy out of here before the season started. The season starts, and then you're like, oh wait, these guys are playing hard, and he should be coach of the year. Then a few games later, get him out of here again. Nah, man, that's expected of Jets Twitter. I expect to see that in Jets Twitter. I don't expect to see that from diehard fans. I don't expect to see that from management. I don't expect to see that from the players. I think the players are going to rock with Todd Bowles for the rest of the year, no matter what happens. I think they have his back with whoever he keeps at quarterback, whoever Maccagnan and Bowles decide to keep at quarterback. And these guys are actually playing. He sees, the players see what he's doing. If there's a veteran who might be a little nicked up, but is in the lineup on Sunday, he's going to play. And the backup may not get what we deem should be enough snaps. It's just going to go that way. You just have to go with the flow, and that's just the way it's going to be. That's his coaching style. That's just the way it's going to be. Sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. That's just how it goes. You look at Belichick before he got to New England. He was in Cleveland. It was up and down all the time. Nobody was talking about Belichick was the greatest coach on earth. Now he comes along with Brady, and all of a sudden he's the greatest coach in the history of football. You never know what's going to happen with this game, man. It's just going to be one player here or there. Give Bowles a chance to see what he can do when he has a full deck, and then judge him off for that. Right now, he still doesn't have a full deck, so and he's exceeded expectations. So just let the season rock out, man, and see what happens. That's the way I look at it. I never had those high expectations for the season from the start. So I guess I'm a little more low key about it. But the one thing I do see, and like I said after the third game, you put this team on the field with anybody, and I think they can play with anybody. They might not come out victorious every game, but I do believe that it will be in every game right to the end.
He has formulated a foundation. We were looking for this as fans. What is Bowles doing? What are they doing? Well, now his drafts, the both of them are in unison with their drafts. They went out and got 2 safeties. We all looked at one another. Why would they draft a second safety? Why would they have a second round? We've drafted one in the first round. Why would we go one in the second round? Nobody's talking about that now, but I heard everybody saying that in the second round. Why did we draft the second? Now, beautiful. You're starting to see the guys that they drafted last year, the linebackers, Jenkins, Lee, starting to come on. Listen, this guy is formulating the team just the way he wants it. They went out and traded for the kid from San Francisco, all right? They drafted Derek Jones. They're getting bigger defensive backs. That's what he wants to bring in time. He's trying to build something, all right? They don't know who their effing quarterback is. They wish they did. They took a shot. It didn't work. They don't feel it worked. But think about the things that they did do and are doing. We have a tight end now. We actually have 2 tight ends because Tomlinson's another guy. He's good, very good, okay? The offensive line is a work in progress. I'm not settled in on that offensive line. No how, no way, okay? There's some pieces there. We'll see. I believe they'll build on that offensive line. The running back position. Listen, Bowles is doing a nice job. He's doing a nice job. They're 4-6. They're competitive. Well, yes, I'm pissed off about yesterday's game. I think it was I think, if anything, that was his worst coaching week because he didn't have them ready to play. They weren't ready to play. Now, I'll agree with that, but that doesn't mean I'm down on Bowles now. Bowles is done. No, we got a base. Let's stay with the future. Just stay the path. Stay the path. Stop trying to fucking – we got to change coaches. We got to change GMs. We've been doing this for 40 years. I'm sick of this shit, okay? Keep the guys in place, and we'll win. We got a good offensive coordinator. They'll figure out who the quarterback is in the offseason. Believe me, they will. Calm down.
I think what's going to be addressed is the QB and offensive line are probably going to be the first things to be addressed in the offseason through free agency or the draft. Those will be the first two.
All right, guys, we're going to go really quick with these questions. We got a ton of them, so we're going to try and get to as many as possible. First up, we got Melvin, who says that he's still drinking the Kool-Aid. We're young. We've got a ton of money. We have a lot to build on. But he also says our play calling is so predictable. We run 95% on first downs. It seems like teams are putting 8 in the box every time.
Well, until you get that threat of Morton feeling comfortable, that's just the West Coast offense, man. They actually, believe it or not, that's how the offense goes, and we see it. You guys get so down on a 2 or 3 yard play that it's almost incredible. But that's just the way that the league goes. Not every team is going to be out here with 3 and 4 wides on every play. That's just not this offense. That's just not how this offense is made to play. We have 2 dynamic young backs and another veteran back, and they all will share in carrying a load. But we don't have 4 dynamic receivers out there. We have guys who actually, Robbie is one guy who can stretch the field, and he's coming on like he's going to be an all-star. Austin is a guy that can handle the middle of the field. Curse is that guy that you need that's steady. The young guys will come into play, but right now, the way it is, the running game is going to be part of the offense, and whether you like it or not, that's just how it's going to be. You're just going to have to, again, another one of those things you have to go with the flow, because one of those first down runs is going to pop for 60 or 70. You can't just fall off the boat that fast. You got to stay the course.
All right,
you got Quincy
Ryan.
Yeah.
That too.
Sorry, we got John Ryan, who wants to know why the DBs were playing with such a cushion the whole game. He says it looked like about 6 times that Deshaun Jackson had about a 5-yard circle around him.
I agree. But Mo Claiborne wasn't healthy. They got him out of there. He was half the problem. And Buster Screen won't be on the team next year. That's pretty simple. He won't be on the team next year. That pretty much handwriting's on the wall.
All right, next up, we got my friend Robbie Jersey, who says that the run blocking continues to hurt us. Lawrence Thomas and Eric Tomlinson need to be more involved. Our starting offensive line needs help. Absolutely, they do.
Yeah, we pretty much touched on that one.
Next up, we got Mark Palillo. Did yesterday's game show that Matt Forte is a big piece of the offense?
No, because even if he was in the game, O-line got swamped, and Matt Forte probably would have had a worse game than McGuire and Bilal Powell.
All right, And our final question is from Tyler Sapoznik. Now that the Jets lost to the Bucs, what are their chances of still making the playoffs?
Still got a shot.
Beat
only
Carolina.
one game to walk on.
Beat Carolina, beat Kansas City. You're playing home. Why not? Why can't you beat Carolina? Why can't you beat Kansas City? You could beat them. Why? You should have beat the Patriots. They're the best team of football right now. We should have won the game. I mean, the Dolphin game. We've been in every game since the Oakland game. Since the Oakland game, we've been in every single game. That's a tribute to Todd Bowles. All the Todd Bowles haters. That's a tribute to Todd Bowles.
One thing I told you, and we see it playing out. I told you guys that Kansas City was going to fall off a little bit. They weren't going to be that world beater like everybody had them tabbed early in the season. They were going to fall off. So it's about that time. They're coming around that part of the season where Jets get them in a couple of weeks, and Jets can win that game, just like they can win next week after the bye against Carolina. Carolina's not a world-beating team right now either. One thing Carolina has is a really good defense. Their defense is really good, so that's another game the O-line is going to have to come. They're going to pack their lunch pail for that game and come ready to play. But they're not world beaters, man. These games can be won by the Jets, even with the shortcomings the Jets have.
And they're home. They're home. That's key. Yeah, we're not going to Carolina. We're not going to Kansas City. We're not going to Arrowhead. We're not going out to Carolina. We're home. We could win these games. You win these games, and all of a sudden, this whole show that we had tonight is going to be like, okay, don't worry about it. We're 6-6. Let's go. We're going out to Denver. Let's go.
Exactly.
All right, well, guys, that's going to do it for us. Great show. A reminder to everybody that we are back on FanDuel this week. So if you're bored during the bye week, go sign up, FanDuel.com/NYJets fans. Get involved in our league. A whole lot of great prizes are going out. Thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. A reminder that since it is the bye week, there's going to be no show on Thursday. We will be back next week, hopefully in a little bit better mood. So we'll talk to you guys then.
Go Jets.
See you guys next week.
Go Jets.